having that full ownership with Bitcoin, it literally allows you to have that privacy, have that ownership, something that you could pass down to your family.
Mhm.
Because we all know where Bitcoin's going, right? It's going to go to the moon. But the problem is we just don't know when.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Moon with the Lunas podcast, where we get to break down Bitcoin for real couples and real life. Today's Bitcoin price is hovering around 69,500. And so today we get to be chatting together a little bit about some of the recent updates and dip in Bitcoin and how we can be navigating this time. Obviously, we're a couple. We have a lot of conversations that we have amongst ourselves. And so we want to be able to share some of those ideas with you guys. So, yeah, Anthony, we just saw the Bitcoin price drop from 126 around 126,000 down to nearly half, which it's the lowest it's been in a while.
Yeah,
So
figures.
yeah, so what's going on?
So number one, for starters, there's more sellers than buyers.
Mhm.
Okay. And so there's a lot of mixed macroeconomic factors. Big investors are selling. A lot of people are reducing their exposure to the asset. Most of these people are new to this in this space, right? There was a lot of ETFs. There's a lot of investors. A lot of these people, treasury companies, a lot of these people were getting exposure to company they to Bitcoin. They were getting exposure to Bitcoin because they saw the price going up, and everyone's trying to make money, and so they're just like, well, let's figure this out. But the problem is that a lot of these people are not ready for Bitcoin's volatility. Bitcoin's volatility can drop. They have these huge dips. It's just in the history of Bitcoin, and honestly, I'm super grateful for these dips because when you understand the asset, you're not diversifying. You're just holding. You're not selling. You're just holding. And so I think to sum it all up, a lot of those factors they kind of reinforced the price dipping, right? It's not just always just one singular like event.
Event.
Yeah, it's usually a sum of things that come together and which kind of drop the price, right? A lot of leverage liquidations, people who leverage and then they ended up the price goes down, they close their position and now they're losing money.
Mm.
Just to keep it even more simple, people who saw the who got in into Bitcoin last year. When they got into the price of Bitcoin last year, they basically saw like it's steady, they accumulated, they saw it go up. And what happened was that they're also not used to like, hey, what's going on? Like this is a big dip. Like why is it we're below 100,000, we're below 90,000, we're below 80,000, we're below 70,000. Like, whoa, like I'm exiting out. Like,
Right.
and to them is to people who understand the asset, you're just holding, right? You're actually seeing as this is a great opportunity to capitalize and just stack as much Bitcoin as you want. I know a lot of people on my timeline are talking about seeing their Bitcoin goes due to the dip, which is awesome. And to flip it here, so you've also been one of these persons where you kind of started dipping in and learning a little bit more about Bitcoin. So seeing it go all the way up and then going down to like, nearly lower than half, like how do you feel about this?
I know. I think I feel at peace though. I don't feel like overwhelmed or stressed out. I feel
Hmm.
like you've done a really good job of explaining it to me. So, and I do know, I think we both have a delayed gratification kind of outlook on life anyways.
Hmm.
So I feel like I know you're excited and like wanting to obviously utilize this time to, really build up our asset, right? Build up our Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a good idea. I just think we also, as like parents and a couple, we have to navigate those conversations a little bit too about how and what makes the most sense. And because we're still part of this fiat world. So yeah, I think it's really great to be able to utilize this time however it makes sense to people. But I think it's interesting because at one point probably last year, the last couple years, you're like, it's going to go to
Yeah.
250,000 or, you have like these predictions, right? Which is not a bad thing. But I'm not a person that gets my hopes up really quickly. I'm just kind of like, okay, well, we'll see what happens kind of
Hmm.
thing. I don't
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, because I honestly thought it was gonna go like 250 plus, just from like of all the again going back to why it dipped, right? All
Yeah.
of these new players are coming in to the into the industry, into the I mean not in the industry, into Bitcoin
Yeah.
space, and institutions ETFs were like approved in January of 24, I believe, and so that had this huge inflow. That was like one of the biggest inflows that they've had within any asset. That was the biggest inflow that they had with any asset since gold, right? So
Right.
they made the gold ETF, and so it was like, whoa, all these inflows are coming. It's when BlackRock and when all of these big investors are starting to like buy in, all these other institutions are also flowing in, right? And more, that's like new money that never like touched this space.
Yeah.
And so when that's happening, the halving happened, and the halving is something else where a lot of people also sell too. So you usually after the halving 18 months, after it, Bitcoin tops off. So it just like it'll blow off like a new all-time high. And that's coming from previous cycles. So Bitcoin always kind of ran on a 4-year cycle. And so new people coming in, they're also kind of bet on that. Like, oh, I know this is a time where it
Mhm.
kind of takes off. But what when you understand Bitcoin and when you learn more about it, it's like unpredictable. Nobody knows shit.
Yeah.
Nobody knows anything.
And it's based on people buying it, right? Like, it's based on how people, like, right?
Mhm.
If they buy more Bitcoin, the value kinda goes
Yeah,
along
anytime you
too, right?
buy more of something, right? But the reason why it goes up higher than your usual stocks and other assets is because Bitcoin is capped with a limited supply. Like
Right.
that is like that scarcity is huge. Like you can never overlook that. Like
Mhm.
there's only ever going to be $21 million. You can make more houses, you can make more boats, you can make more of everything, right? But you can never make even with any stocks, you can make more. You can make more stocks. They can issue more stocks, but you can never make more Bitcoin, which is like it sounds like, man, like that's the reason why, like one of the main reasons why it's so scarce and so like valuable. Like, yeah, because it's the only asset that we know that actually has a limit.
Mm.
I had some people asking, what's going on? Are you scared? Are you selling? Are you selling this for gold? I'm like, I'm not selling our Bitcoin for gold. Bitcoin is the new digital gold. We're moving into the future where everything is digital.
I was gonna add something to that. If you would have sold, right? If you were a person that was like that, right? I would
Hmm.
be very annoyed as a partner
Yeah.
because if you think about it, it's one, you've been sharing this information with me, right?
Yeah.
You've been
Yeah.
investing so much time in this. You've been working so hard at like
Yeah.
really developing yourself in this. And then all of a sudden you sell. Oh, heck
I know.
no, dude.
I
I'd
know.
be like, I'm in charge now. Like,
Yeah.
it would
Oh,
be
yeah.
a flip. So
Mhm.
I guess my like brain would go, I'm actually going to handle our finances now because you can't make a good decision.
Or you're emotionally based, right? So
Yeah,
you're
because it would
just
be an
like,
emotion based. So I would be like, no, I don't
no,
think you should be
it's
handling this.
so good. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that's something to consider as partners, right? Like if you're also like have someone in your life that's like very emotionally teetering, there's a teeter. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, That's something to keep an eye on because as a woman, I want to feel secure in our finances. I want to feel secure in our relationship. And if you're someone that's scared by like something that you've invested in so much time and
Yeah.
energy and resources,
Mhm.
and you just go, you know what, this isn't for us.
Yeah. Oh
Oh,
my
I
God.
would lose it. I think I would lose it. But
Yeah.
I do want to say like that mindset and mentality that like, for people who do sell their Bitcoin, it's coming from a place of probably fear or just emotional
Uneducated too.
yeah.
Not like it
Uh,
also shows where you just don't understand what you hold on
mhm.
to, and so you need to study more,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of OG Bitcoiners just kind of selling off,
Yeah.
and so there wasn't really like a huge catalyst like where like COVID or housing crash or anything like that for it to just dip.
Hmm.
Overall, it's a great opportunity, and we should all be very blessed that they're at this because there's a lot of people during that time like, hey, Bitcoin would never let go under 100,000, less than 100,000 again. Like that'll be the last time you can buy Bitcoin under 100,000. Let alone be told we're here at 70,000 today,
Yeah.
and it was hitting 6,000, and 70,000 is still a great opportunity to buy Bitcoin. And
Right.
so
So what do you mean by like mental milestone? Can you elaborate on that?
yeah, so mental milestone, like, so say for example, right, like we're stocking, and a lot of people are like, when they get into Bitcoin, they're probably like, oh, I'm gonna get in it to make some money. It's a quick buck. Oh, I know it's gonna go up. It's volatile. Let me, when it goes up, maybe I'll sell. I'll make some money and I'll sell.
Hmm.
And then also there's other people like, oh, well, I'm gonna hold on to it, and then when it gets to 250,000, or and recently 100,000, or let's just say in our case, we're like, oh, we'll sell some at 1 million. These are the mindsets that a lot of people have when you're first getting into Bitcoin, right?
Mm,
Let me hold it and I'll get to a certain milestone,
right.
right? Or if let me hold it, and then as soon as I make 10x or 5x or 3x my money, I'll just pull out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's why I think that wherever you're at, some people will like hit a mental milestone, like a certain number in their, like maybe in their personal life. Hey, I need to make this much money. Once it hits there,
Hmm.
I'll pull out. Oh, I have debt of 5,000. Oh, once Bitcoin it was able to make me 6,000, I'll cash out
Yeah.
and use 5,000 to pay off debt. And what, everybody's navigating it differently. And so wherever you're at, I think that some people have mental milestones in their head.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So that helps. But I know that based on the conversations we've had on the
Mm.
podcast, based on the conversations we've had together, our
Yes.
goal is really not to sell. Okay. And so some people might be navigating the thought process that I probably had was,
Mm-hmm.
so we stack, we make all this money, like we put all this into the Bitcoin, into Bitcoin,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're just like we just look at it and go, wow, that's a really high number that we can
Yeah.
never
No,
touch.
that's really good.
Someone who's now just learning, now just kind of really diving in, that number, because we're still part of, I mean, we grew up in this fiat system, right? You see that big number and you're going, can we use this though? Like that'd
Yeah.
be really helpful. But
Yes.
also I've learned so much that we should just keep it in our Bitcoin, and keep stacking. So yeah, help like me,
Yeah.
and then maybe other people who are navigating that. Like how can we
Yeah, this is a really great
navigate this?
question. So number one, usually the way it works is that when people first start learning about Bitcoin, you're like, oh, number go up, let me make some money on this, and just make a quick turnaround, right? Make a quick buck. And usually that's what happens when people first get into it. You're just like looking to make some money. And what later on what happens is that when you start buying Bitcoin and you start learning, like you start reading the books, you start learning reading you start watching podcasts, right? And I also think that this is very important. You should like be very aware on what type of podcast that you follow, right? Because a lot of people are doom glooms when things are bad, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's gonna go forever." Like
Yeah.
they're super like hot and cold, right? And so you want to find somebody that that you connect with, and then like they also are matching what you're reading, right? Your education,
Mm-hmm.
and so what with that being said, in the very beginning, it just seems like everyone's trying to make
Big,
a quick come up.
right.
Okay. And so, but the more that you learn and the more education that you get, you start building conviction. When you start building that conviction, you understand like what you're holding onto.
Yeah.
It's something that it's property. It's something that you can actually own where you're not paying taxes on it, right? When you make a down payment on the
Mhm.
house because you have a loan for 30 plus years,
Right.
right? If you own something, you don't
Oh,
owe anything,
anyway.
right?
Yeah.
And so then let's just say fast forward, you pay off this loan, right? And now you have property taxes. And again, your payment is very cheap. That you have to pay property taxes every year, and you have equity, whatever you want to call it. Okay, but I'm talking about ownership. You still fully don't own it,
Mm.
right? Because you
Mhm.
have to keep paying something and
Yes.
someone every year or every month, whatever, etc. And so having that full ownership with Bitcoin, it literally allows you to have that privacy, have that ownership, something that you could pass down to your family.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all know where Bitcoin's going, right? It's going to go to the moon. But the problem is we just don't know when. And I'm going to be a little selfish. I'm going to say this a lot in this episode. I want to hit some of our Bitcoin goals that we have, and being able to cut that in half, the Bitcoin price in half, where it's gonna be a lot faster and a lot easier
Mm-hmm.
to stack. So I want to like blow through all of our Bitcoin goals, as soon as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool because a lot of people that I follow on X, just killed it, right? They're already hitting their Bitcoin goals, which is awesome because like it's a 50% discount. It's like you should be hitting your Bitcoin goals, right?
Mhm.
And so that's kind of how I
Yeah.
see it right now.
And that you just talking about that alone, just that last part of we want to hit all of our Bitcoin goals. So for me, and
Mhm.
I'm playing like little devil's advocate here for
Mhm.
people who are with their spouse, are still navigating, educating themselves. That term of like, let's just go for it can feel intimidating because $70,000 is
Mhm.
still a lot of money,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
that's a significant amount of money that you're
Yeah.
going to be like moving into something,
Correct.
and and we believe that it will go up, but it can be an intimidating process for someone like me or anyone else who's navigating the Bitcoin world for the first time.
Mhm.
Is so hold your horses, right? Like
Yeah.
I mean, it's like because if you're someone who's in Bitcoin, you are amped,
Yeah.
okay? And this guy's always amped. Like he's pumped up, he's
Mhm.
positive, he's like, yes, these things are gonna happen. I want to believe those things will happen, but how can like you bring some confidence to that or light to that feeling of like, okay, that's a lot of money though at one point because we've even talked about this.
Yeah, yeah, and
Because
this is probably something that a lot of people are navigating as well,
yeah.
like other spouses and partners, and
Mhm.
kind of why we started this whole podcast. And then maybe like, so what I always recommend, like everybody's navigating things very differently, right?
Mhm.
Everyone's at a different point in their life, whether you're younger, you're older, or middle age, whatever it may be. And so I think where, have goals where like, oh, okay, well, what makes you feel comfortable in the fiat world where like if I have an emergency fund or something like that? Because yeah,
That's a lot.
pouring a lot of money into, an asset, or being all in, right? We'll just use this to make things black and white. Like say someone's all in on Bitcoin, they understand it, there's no second best, and they're just like, hey, we need to like go all in, right? Like what you're sharing.
Yeah.
Well then how do you kind of settle your spouse or significant other on the other end? Well, maybe that's something you need to talk about where maybe we'll save enough fiat, right? Which is it's hard to say that because it's like
Yeah.
holding on to melting ice. But hey, we still do participate in the fiat world. We were born in the fiat world. Maybe to ease your significant other, maybe have a certain goal of fiat where you feel comfortable with it, right?
Yeah.
To kind of like ease attention because it can be intimidating. But the more you learn and understand Bitcoin, the more you feel like it's the safest thing,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
And again, like that, what's cool is like you can easily liquidate it and get it,
Yeah.
but that's not the goal. And
Right.
everyone should should figure out that on themselves on like, hey, we'll do XYZ when we hit this, or maybe you just hold it for like 5 years and wherever we're at, everybody has different goals.
Yeah.
The ultimate goal when you learn it is, hey, this is the best performing asset. Let me just hold on to it and then, we'll see where it goes, right?
Yeah.
And then figure out the fiat world because, we still participate in it.
Yeah. And I like that, like what you shared of willing to compromise and like ease someone else's stressor, or because money can be a stressor, right? It could be
Mhm.
something that people are navigating at their own pace. They're
Mhm.
figuring out living situations and all that. And so I think having, like you said, an open conversation with your partner is always the best thing. We've always come together too, and you've always been very much like, hey, let's think about this, let's pray about it, let's
Mhm.
these are the things that I'm thinking about, and then I'll share my ideas of what I'm thinking.
Mhm.
And we're sometimes not in alignment. And so we have to kind of like take a step back and we come back to it. And I think that's a helpful thing too. Nothing has to be like in that second. Although in this Bitcoin world, we don't know when the price will go up or down, right? So it's
Mhm.
like you kind of have to take advantage of those opportunities when it is, lower. I'm
Mhm.
gathering. Um, but you're still your main priority is still your marriage, your relationship too,
Mhm.
and so making
Yes.
sure that you're on the same page is super, super excuse me, super, super important
Mhm.
because, yeah, if Anthony was just like, spending all of our fiat money and putting it into Bitcoin, everyone in the Bitcoin world would be like, "Yeah, good job." But every couple would be like, "Wait, what does your spouse think about that?" Like, have you even talked to them about it? And that would cause a rift, in our
Mhm.
relationship too if he was always doing things like that. So,
I am.
yeah, she's secretly taking all of our money and putting it into Bitcoin. Oh my
The,
god, imagine.
well, also, I think too is a good point is where, like, let's just say Bitcoin's half off, right? And people are like, they've always had a Bitcoin goal. So also, like, maybe like, hey, let's hit this Bitcoin goal and hit the brakes a little bit on stacking, right?
Yeah.
So everyone can navigate this differently. It's definitely a conversation you need to have with your significant other, especially if you have kids, right? It's like, it's something you got to be smart about it, like at the end of the day, because it's an asset.
Mhm.
Have your priorities and have your priorities straight. But when you do learn it and you get conviction, you're just like, man, I need to accumulate as much as possible, especially at these prices because we don't know when we're going to see these prices again. Bitcoin is about, well, I think we're like 16 years old, coming up on 17 years old, and for the fact that it's still at these prices, it's fascinating. It's super underrated. It's the most underrated asset right now, undervalued asset right now. And I just can't. I personally cannot believe we're at 70,000. Right? You're just like it.
When was it the lowest? Like, what was the price when I feel like it was lower than this at one point, right?
There, yeah, it was definitely lower.
Wait, when you first got into it, what
Yeah,
was the
so it went from 69,000, and I remember at 69,000, I was like, man, like this is like, again, that's kind of when first started learning. So I was like dabbling in it, right? And then it went and I was learning and learning, and then it went all the way down to like 16,000.
I remember that.
And then I was like, "Oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
16,000." I was like, when you do the work of educating and do the knowledge,
Mhm.
you understand that like this is an opportunity. Like this is also, I think it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. But you only say stuff like that, I think when you understand it,
Mhm.
right? It's not something that comes overnight. It's something
Yeah.
that you have to build up to. And again, anything that's worth doing, it takes work, right? So like when you're going to the gym, like, you don't just like you're not gonna see results overnight. You have to keep going and going, and then it compounds, and then you're
Mhm.
like, wow, like, 3 to 6 months or in a year, you're like, wow, I was at, XYZ, now I'm this much lower.
Yeah.
It takes work.
I think that it kind of boils down to being willing to learn a little bit more. And it
Mhm,
might take time. And that's kind of how I've been navigating. I've been pacing myself a little bit.
mhm.
And I've been able to learn from so many amazing people that we've been able to interview and things.
So good.
And you've been really helpful in that journey for me too. But I'm gonna speak to a point of in the fiat world, kind of from that perspective again. So, as someone who's a little bit more conservative with their
Yes.
money, right? Like, I like to plan things out. I like to make sure we have enough. I like to make sure things are
Mhm.
in a certain order. And I think most people hopefully are that way, not
Yeah.
too like frivolous. Um, I think that's also something that I struggle with, like, even with my faith too, is just like being in control of certain situations and knowing that like I actually don't have any control over it. I think I've trusted you on this Bitcoin journey. I've also learned a lot about that like long-term goal.
Mhm.
How can you like speak to that long-term goal situation? Like how can you help someone because as someone who's a little bit more conservative, wanting to plan things out,
Mhm.
the long-term kind of delaying gratification right now has always been something that we've worked on
Mhm.
in general.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like how can, and especially in the Bitcoin world, you have to have that long-term goal, right?
Yeah.
That long-term mindset.
Yeah, so,
What is it called
it's
again?
called a low time
Thank
preference.
you.
So when you have a
Couldn't
low
think of that
time
word.
preference, you're delaying your gratification because 'cause you're thinking long term, okay?
Mhm.
Right now in our society, we live in a high time preference where everything's instant. Instagram, Instacart, Uber, like the fact that, we can buy something, be on our doorsteps like by tomorrow morning, like that's still insane concept to me. I
It
still
is
can't
wild.
believe it, but everyone needs to get like fed, right? Oh, I need to get entertained. I need to get this like next fix, this next high, right? And again, that could be like with movies, or that could be like with sugar, or that could be like, whatever it is, drugs, or whatever it is, right? Or gambling. That's huge. I feel like every commercial right now is gambling. So anything that's like, oh, everything's like that instant gratification, right? We live in a high time preference society and world.
Hmm.
Oh, and so we need to go back to low time preference where we see back in the future. Like, and I think navigating that, hey, setting goals, hey, you want to put a certain fiat or away, even though it's gonna melt, like in you, but you're still happy and you're like, or you still have peace, right? Okay, cool. Like we can do that, a little emergency fund or whatever that slowly will melt. Cool, whatever, right? It's just hard. It's hard to see.
That's such a funny
It's
the way your brain is working right now. It's like, this is really stupid, but fine, let's just put
It's
it in there.
well, but I say that with love though, because like we do participate in a few. Well, and a lot of people don't understand this,
Yeah.
but where you and then we just hit like I think we just hit like 38 or 39 trillion
Our debt?
in our national debt, which
Wow.
is crazy, and it's going up faster and faster and faster. And this is something that's it's going to keep escalating even for the next president or the next president. Like this is all built up over time, but I think everyone's navigating it differently, right? And so I joined like the spaces the other day, and it was great. There was a lot of young kids on there, right, in their 20s, and there's some people in their 30s as well, but majority it felt like they were in their 20s, and it's really great because they understand, hey, we need to lock in right now. We need to
Mm,
figure this out because if you lock in now in your 20s, and whatever it is, whether you're like learning, stocks or
yeah,
Bitcoin or just like head down having a low time preference, you can really it's like a launching pad for your whole life
right,
into your 30s and 40s.
right.
And I don't regret it. I've done amazing, cool, fun things in my 20s. Like that I don't think a lot of people were able to do. But at the same time, if I locked in and just kind of put that stuff away, our life would be in a different spot right now. But hey, this is our journey, and I'm glad where we're at right now and
Yeah.
where we're headed. And so yeah.
And just keeping that in the forefront too is just knowing that like we could, shoulda, woulda, coulda a lot of things, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I think about that
Yep.
all the time, just with like our fitness when we got married, how later ish that we had children, like we could do that with everything, but we were
Mhm.
made for such a time as this, and
Mhm.
so like in this moment, in this time frame, like we're where we're supposed to be. So I
Mhm.
think that's super helpful to hear too, because it's encouraging. I think it's really cool that you're having conversations with kids, but people in their 20s, early 20s that are navigating that, because yeah, we
Yeah.
were not doing that.
No.
We were having a good time.
Yeah.
Anthony's life motto was, "We're here for a good time, not a long time."
Yeah.
And that was, while fun in the moment, I always thought, but what if we're here for a long time? And so
Mhm.
we were, not as responsible as probably we should have been, and
Yep.
all of that. So I think it's really neat that you're talking to people that are
Mhm.
really focused on their future. I think that's one of the cool things about
And
Bitcoin.
they're smart too, right? They're doing the work too. So
Hmm.
I learn from them all the time as well.
Yeah.
It's like we're like iron sharpens iron type of
Yeah.
thing, right? And so you have to be open-minded. You have to be able to like willing to learn from people like who are older than you, younger than you, or the same age as you, like people that have results. I think
Hmm.
that's the biggest thing. Like you always want to be very mindful and
Hmm.
having that wherewithal, like, hey, do these people have the results that I want, right? And like the mindset that I want to adopt or kind of grow. And so no, I really appreciate and I just recently hopped on those like a couple times and the spaces has been really good.
Yeah.
Really, really great actually.
Yeah, and those are probably good things to check into every now and then also, right? Like just
Mhm.
kind of seeing like what are people's mindsets, especially as right now Bitcoin seems to be dipping a little
Mhm.
bit, and then, kind of has its volatility moments
Mhm.
of, significant drops and rises.
Yeah.
So kind of getting that reassurance that what you're doing is a good thing. I
Mhm.
think that's always helpful. It's like when you have like an accountability coach of like, oh, I'm going to the gym, I'm doing this, and like I'm not seeing these results right now,
Mhm.
so being able to kind of have those check-ins with someone is always super helpful too.
Yeah.
And we've done a pretty good job, I feel like, in this season of this Bitcoin world of checking in with each other. I think
Mhm.
that's been really important.
Mhm.
Especially, well, we do talk about Bitcoin a lot because we're talking to a lot of people about Bitcoin in our
Mhm.
podcast.
Yeah.
So we do have these post conversations, if you will, after some of the conversations that we have with people, because we are now, everyone has like these crazy cool backgrounds. We're
Yeah.
talking to people in Europe. We're talking to people who are DJs. We're talking to people who are
Yes.
thinking about leaving this whole country, and
Yeah,
just it's so cool
it is.
because
It
not
is.
one person has been similar, like, at all.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, other than their mindset.
yeah,
Other than their mindset, which is probably the most important thing,
mhm,
has been similar, but their family life, their background, their all of that has been different,
yeah,
all of them,
yeah,
and different age ranges too, which
yeah.
has been really interesting to see too. So
We need to get more girls on though.
I'm selfishly wanting to talk to other women about this. And
Yeah,
so I think, yeah, we'd love to have you on. So reach out to Anthony because I think that would be super awesome.
yeah, that'd be great.
Um, but yeah, I feel like we just wanted to kind of get a pulse on the current, Bitcoin world right now, current what is happening,
Market.
the market, all of that. We've had very like valid conversations and questions that have come up in our conversations just personally. And
Like
so
how much more are we gonna buy?
yeah.
We're gonna
How
increase
are
our
we gonna
DCA.
buy? Yeah. How are we gonna navigate that? So, those are again, I think if we were to, like, finish off is just to make sure that you are in communication with your spouse about what you're doing. Even if you're the Bitcoin navigator, the one that's, like, really into educating yourself, or you've already educated yourself, just be patient with your spouse and just let them navigate, because I really feel grateful that Anthony's been patient with me because, yeah, we're both doing a lot in our own, like, in our roles of our marriage. And so that too adds another layer of being able to add more to our plate, even for me. It's just been, do I have the mind to hold on to this information, or can you just handle
You
this?
can do it. You can do it.
No,
Don't put a lid on yourself.
I'm not saying right. I'm just saying in general. It could have been about anything. It could have been about, like, hey, I'm learning how to, I don't know, fix cars now. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? So it's just all these things that we're navigating as a couple and developing in. So, but yeah, do you want to add anything or
Yes. I would say right now, do your homework. Do your homework and then build that conviction. Study Bitcoin and then make your move from there. Don't just buy Bitcoin. Don't ever do that or listen to somebody that just says that. Do your homework and then because I think it just tastes and feels so much better when you do your homework and then you understand what it is that you're buying, right? You don't want to like just invest in something because it's going to make you money because not all money is good money.
yeah.
Okay. And
Hmm.
so be very, having that like, hey, I'm gonna do my homework, that deep dive and figure things out. And that's again, that's another like a whole nother reason why people go into Bitcoin because it brings so much peace
Yeah,
and in the lives into like into
absolutely.
getting freedom because they know like the core values and like the privacy, the security, it's at its core value, it's something that's like a lot of people value as well and
Yeah.
want more of in their life. And so
Yeah.
whatever it is, and where you're, going a little biblical, like, wherever your treasure is, where your heart is, right? And so, or
Yeah.
so that's why it's very important, um, to just do your homework.
Yeah.
And right now is I cannot stress to study Bitcoin. Right now is the perfect opportunity to hit a lot of goals, and then maybe hit those goals and just chill, right? Maybe pull, scale back on your DCA, scale back on your smash buys, whatever it is. Do your homework. I can't stress to you like this whole podcast thing is we just want to add value to people and spread the word because it's changed us in our lives
Hmm.
where it helped us so much that we're like we really need to get this message out to as many people because we are so early,
Yeah.
even though we're like 16 years, 17 years into the actual like birth
Yeah.
of Bitcoin,
Yeah.
right? And so it I just like what else? Like what are we gonna do? Like play video games, right? What are we gonna do?
You
Like,
better not.
paint our face and go to, professional sports games? Like
Wear hats that say the 49ers on them? What are you
it's
talking about?
well, it's no, you know what
Just
I'm
kidding.
talking
I know, I
about. You know
know.
what I'm talking
No,
about.
we're not that crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are excited. We're pumped up for what's to come. And yeah, I think just doing the work of educating ourselves, I think that's a great place to start and then just go from there and plug into podcasts like ours that might be, I don't know, fun and things that you're learning as we go. And you get to hear from so many amazing people, and you get to hear maybe my perspective on from a different lens, so
Mhm,
that those of you who are in relationships or are just new to Bitcoin, you can kind of hear where my brain kind of
mhm.
functions a little. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. If you found value in this or would like to hear more, please subscribe, and please make sure to connect with us, leave
Mhm.
a comment. We'd love to be able to kind of chat more with you guys. And so, yeah, we'll see you guys soon.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye.